6.5 down, 5.5 down, 9 forward. Good.
Episode 8 of Death's Game starts with Yi-jae finding himself in his mother's body and thinking that death is too cruel. He gets his mother's memories and gets to experience the pain his mother went through after his suicide. In addition, Yi-jae learns that his mother never gave up on life like him, no matter how hard life became. His mother sacrificed too much after his father's death, and life was not kind to her. Yi-jae understands that the death that causes him the most pain is not his own, but of a person he loves. Yi-jae feels so ashamed of killing himself and decides to go on living as his mother. The next morning, he wakes up early, takes the morning train, and goes to his mother's cleaning job. On the train, he sees many other people's parents doing their best to get by, and he feels that he cannot stand before them and say that he did his best. He finishes his mother's talks of the day and heads back home, struggling with knee pains, but he keeps pushing on. At home, he stumbles upon a house savings plan his mother had started for him when he was little and remembers her telling him that he can use it to buy a house when he gets older. Yi-jae is overwhelmed with emotions and starts crying. The next day, he falls asleep on the train from work, wakes up at the station near his columbarium, and decides to visit. Memories of his mother visiting him every day after work flash through his mind, and Yi-jae feels her pain 1,000-fold, witnessing her mother continuously blame herself for his death. Yi-jae wished he could apologize to his mother and tell her he would want to be born as his son in the next life, but his feelings could not reach her. He decides to give back to his mother by taking her on a trip to Met Obang, a favorite vacation spot for his parents. Yi-jae pushes himself to the top of the mountain regardless of the pain and lets his mother bask in the beautiful view of the sundown. He stands beside his mother and apologizes for not keeping his promise, and they hold hands. Yi-jae starts going down the mountain late at night, and the darkness makes it hard for him to find his way, making his trip and rolling down a cliff. He almost gives up and lies down there waiting for death. But remembering it is his mother's body. He does not allow himself to die like that. He crawls back up to the trail, and the next time he wakes up, he is at the hospital. Yi-jae is so relieved and happy that his mother is still alive. Suddenly, he remembers his mother crying over his dead body in the morgue, begging that he wake up so they can go home. Yi-jae realizes that he made a grave mistake when he committed suicide. In addition, he realizes that he constantly lived his life in fear that he was not good enough, afraid he would fall behind his peers, and afraid of rejection. He ended his life before it could blossom because of the constant fear. Furthermore, Yi-jae realizes that life is an opportunity and that the pain he thought engulfed his life is only a small part. Life is made up of different days. Sometimes it could be rainy, windy, and other times sunny, but all these days make life worth living. To fulfill his mother's wish for him to live his next life until the end, Yi-jae chooses to live as his mother for 32 years, which is longer than the time spent living as Yi-jae. After he dies, Yi-jae meets up with death again. This time, he says he misses her so much. Yi-jae spent all the time apart from death thinking about what to tell her when they meet again. He gets on his knees, begging death to give him a chance to live as himself just once. He wants to have just one chance to hug his mother. Death tells him that he has finished his punishment, and all that remains is God's judgment. However, before judgment, she gives him one last bullet. Yi-jae fires the gun, shooting himself in the head, and the next scene is back at the rooftop. Yi-jae's mother calls, and he picks up the call this time. It took Yi-jae 11 painful deaths to realize the importance of life after he wakes up as his mother in this episode. Although the finale is underwhelming in terms of action, like the previous episodes, it is an emotional conclusion to the story and a teaching moment for Yi-jae. Death aimed to teach him a lesson about life, and Yijay finally learned that in the last emotional episode. The one thing that stands out in this episode is the depth of emotions both Yijay and his mother deliver. They carried the viewers through every moment, making them feel the agony after his death. The ending is satisfactory and wraps up the story without as many cliffhangers. However, did death grant Yijay a chance to turn back time? Does that mean everyone who died in the series, including Jisoo, is alive? How does Yijay choose to live his life after the second chance? Another part showing Yijay's life after using the extra bullet would help answer these questions. If you are watching this channel for the first time, hit the subscribe button and watch other episodes. Until then, it's me, Mitsubishi, signing off.